First of all, appreciate everybody coming out and covering Penn State football. Before I kind of get started here, obviously this day, 9/11, represents a lot of things for a lot of different people in our country, and obviously hits close to home. So I didn't want to kind of get into football without talking about this significant day in our country's history. So I wanted to take a moment to mention that. I actually had a teammate from college that passed away on that day as well. So when we were able to take our team a few years back to the site, I think it was powerful. And another example of how college athletics and specifically football, can use our platform to do other things. And that was an important day in our program. So I wanted to mention that. I also wanted to mention David Williams is stepping down. The athletic director at Vanderbilt has been a mentor and a friend of mine. Has had a huge impact on me both personally and professionally. Actually just got done visiting with David here in the last hour. David, I kind of give you an example of what he's meant to me and my family. Obviously, professionally kind of speaks for itself, but personally, both of my parents have been deceased for a long time, and my kids were going to school. They had grandparents' day at school, and they don't have grandparents from my side, and my wife's side is too far away. So David and Gail both went to elementary school with my daughters for grandparents' day. So kind of speaks to the type of guy he is, and I'm forever grateful and thankful for David. So I did want to mention that real quick. Getting into the Pitt game, I'm proud of how we played. I think we took a step in the right direction. Cleaned up some things, played aggressive, played fast. Thought we really did well at the line of scrimmage, both the defensive line and offensive line. I think getting Kevin Gibbons back was a significant impact in the game. We won the turnover battle, although I thought we were sloppy, and it's something we take a lot of pride in. We did win the turnover battle, but we put the ball on the ground way too many times. Penalties, we were able to win that. I thought we played with great poise and discipline the entire game in a highly motivated, highly anticipated game in terms of the energy and emotion on the field on Saturday. So I thought our guys did a good job there. We won the drive start battle. I thought Blake had a significant impact in the game, and we're going to need him to be that way throughout the entire year. We won the sack battle, and then we didn't meet our goal in the explosive play battle on offense, but we did win the explosive battle in the game. So real positives there. Our coaches, players of the game on offense was KJ Handler. On defense was Amani Oruwariye.
Really?
Amani, that's for you, brother. And then on special teams is Blake Gilligan. So in general positives, I thought we played with tremendous effort. We dominated the line of scrimmage. We kept our poise and discipline. I thought we played a complete game on special teams, and then opportunities for growth. We got to protect the football consistently. On offense, defensively, we got to consistently do our jobs. I thought that one play where they ran the fly sweep and got down the sideline, I think if we do our jobs on that play and don't let that play get going, that play got them some momentum, and I think that the game's much different. We start with a 3 and out. I think if we don't give up that play early on and do our jobs, set the edge and turn the ball back inside, I think even the first half is much different than the way it played out. We got to be more physical and lower and consistently wrapping up at our tackles. There's still times where we're throwing shoulders. I think we can do a better job there. And then we got to eliminate penalties on offense. We took 2 huge plays that I'm not sure if the penalties, really would have helped. I think we still get the pass play to Miles for a huge play. I think we still get the touchdown. I believe that Polk's hand was on. He did put his hand on his back. It was the right call, but he didn't shove him. And I don't know if the guy would make the tackle anyway. So we got to get those things cleaned up. So moving on to Kent State. And Coach Sean Lewis, who I've got a lot of respect for. We did a travel camp with those guys a few years back in Chicago and got a chance to get to know him a little bit. Very, very impressed. Obviously, his background's on the offensive side of the ball. Also, he's a Big Ten guy, played at the University of Wisconsin for Barry Alvarez, so he understands this conference as well. They got 12 of 29 starters returning. If you look at the Illinois game, they're winning 7-3 in the first quarter. They're winning 17-3 in the second quarter. And then they gave up some points in the third quarter, but then ended up losing 24-31 on the road to Illinois. So again, we're playing a team that expects to come in and not only compete, but win. And then they were able to get a lot of confidence last week in playing Howard and win 54-14. So, a real challenge. I think, obviously, Penn State offense is run by Andrew Sauter, but I think we all realize, too, that the head coach, it's his offense. This is going to be a tempo offense, probably the fastest tempo team that we've seen since we've been here. Very much like Syracuse has been, very much like Baylor used to be. This will be as fast of a tempo team that we have played. They like to run the counter, they like to run the zone read, they like to run the split zone and the power play. They love the quick game and the RPO stuff. And then everything runs through the quarterback. Quarterback's a problem. Woody Barrett is a problem. Highly, highly recruited kid. Played in the Under Armour All-American game, signs with Auburn, transfers out to a junior college, and now is starting at Penn State. He's 6'2", he's 236 pounds. He can run, he can throw, he's dynamic. You see guys come through blitzing, and he stands in the pocket, they hit him, they bounce off, he keeps his eyes downfield, delivers a strike, can beat you with his legs. He's a problem, so we got to be ready and prepared for him. Like everybody in the country, dual threat quarterbacks are problematic, so we got to be ready for him. And then running back Justin Rankin does a nice job for them as well, 5'9", 211 pounds. On defense, Tom Kaufman, kind of an interesting deal. He actually started at college at Cornell with Ricky Ronnie. They were both together before he transferred out of Cornell after Ricky's freshman year. He's been a collegiate coach for now 6 years, defensive coordinator at Chattanooga, where they hired him from. But they got background, like most of his coaching staff, Syracuse, Bowling Green, Eastern Illinois. They're sound, high-effort group. They're gonna be another odd front defense, very similar to what we played in week 1 with App State. So 3 down, although they're 4-2-5 personnel. Coverages are too high, but they're going to mix in some quarters and then some cover 1. They pressure over 30% of the time. The guys that we're impressed with is number 7, their safety, Jamal Parker, Parker's a local kid from Pensacola, New Jersey. Linebacker number 22, Jim Jones from Tallahassee, Florida, senior. And then the defensive end number 58, Theo, I don't want to mispronounce his name, 6'1", 269 pound senior from Lithonia, Georgia. Then on special teams, Zach Burton runs that for them, does a nice job. This is his first team there, first year there. Got 11 years of collegiate experience from Winona State to Memphis and Nebraska. Aggressive, fast, athletic unit. We've been impressed with linebacker number 32 on special teams, Dalton Hicks, and linebacker number 6, Matt Barr, who's a senior linebacker for them as well, guys that show up on special teams. So excited to be back at home. We're expecting another great crowd, but I'd love for us to take it to another level. I'd love to see us be able to sell the stadium out. I think that would do wonders for our program. I think it sends a message nationally as well. And we're going to need them. We've been fairly successful at home, and I think the crowd has been a huge part of that. So I'd ask everybody, all 105,000, that we're expected on Saturday, to recruit one person, and we'll try to figure out a way to get 210,000 people in the stadium. So everybody go out and recruit one person for the game, and I'll let Sandy and Phil figure out how to get 210,000 people in the stadium. So open up the questions.
Start with Rich Scarswell from Reading Eagle.
Hey, James.
Hey Rich, how are you, buddy?
I'm all right. How are you?
Really good.
James, can you evaluate the play of Juwan Johnson and DeAndre Hopkins to this point?
Yeah, I think both Juwan and DeAndre have higher standards and expectations of how they want to play. I have the utmost confidence in those guys, and I think they're both going to have huge years for us. But yeah, I think there's a few plays that they'd like to have back. There's no doubt about it. I thought we made a huge step, which is critical in our offense, in the perimeter blocking game. I thought those guys really took big steps, significant steps. If you guys go back and watch the tape, some really good examples of us blocking on the perimeter and playing physical. But yeah, I think both of those guys have higher standards and expectations of who they want to be. One of the things I'm going to talk to the team about today is, Juwan. What I love about him is his approach. In all of his free time, he's in the facility, stretching, on the jugs machine, getting extra lift, watching more film, constantly taking care of his body, hot tubs, cold tubs. And with that type of investment that you make, good things are going to happen. He's got great skills. We talk about, investing in your future, investing in your craft, investing in school. It's all about preparation. And Juwan constantly, from the coaching staff and from the players, is pointed out as a guy that does that as well as anybody. So, I got tremendous confidence that those guys are going to end up, we're going to look back at the end of the year and say, wow, what huge years these guys had. I'm very, very confident that's going to happen.
Bob Flanders here for Patriot News.
Hi, James. How are you doing?
Good, Bob. How are you?
I'm good. James, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the linebacker play in general, and specifically what you've seen from Michael Parsons earlier this season.
Yeah, I think it's about where we thought it would be. It's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to evolve. We got a number of guys. We got experience there. We got experienced talent. We got young talent. I think the combination of Koa Farmer and Micah Parsons at the outside linebacker position, I think that's that's a nice 1-2 punch that we have there, and feel like those guys got a chance to play at a very, very high level for us. At middle linebacker, you got an interesting three-way, three-headed monster there with Jan, Ellis, and Jesse, and all three of them do good things. And we'll continue to see those guys get reps and opportunities. It was good to see Jesse, who didn't play in week 1 at the linebacker position, get some reps in week 2, and I think that will continue to evolve. And then at the other outside linebacker, Cam Brown, and I see Jarvis Miller taking some steps. And then we were impressed when Daylon got into the game. We thought he did some good things. So that group will continue to evolve and grow, and you'll see a lot of guys get an opportunity to make plays. And I think at some point this season, either someone will take the job and take control of it and say, it's mine because there is a gap. Or you'll see, a two-headed or three-headed monster continue to kind of evolve there and grow and get better week to week.
Derek Lavar, School Career Times leader.
Hi, James. How are you?
Good, Derek. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, James, given that Tommy Peter hasn't been 100%, how much of that affected, if at all, how you use trades in the run game so far?
Yeah, it hasn't really affected us a whole lot. I think, game planning, I think probably, some of the quarterback run stuff we've limited, but as you guys know, we do so much of the RPO stuff that, he's still getting a decent amount of carries per game to keep people honest. That's who we are. That's who we will be. I think you guys see we have a lot of confidence in Sean Clifford as well, which obviously helps with that. And then, obviously, getting Tommy back, is going to open some other things up to us as well in the run and passing game. Because as we've used him the last couple of years, we know he can factor in a lot of different roles and wear a lot of different hats, not only as a backup quarterback, but also as, getting two quarterbacks on the field at the same time, use him as a running back, use him as a H-back, use him as a wide receiver. So that's exciting as well, because I do think it opens another aspect of our game plan.
Mark Williams, Challenge Morning Call.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
You mentioned it before.
I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing you.
Good now?
Not really, but I'll just focus.
You mentioned it earlier this season, a preseason about natural feel for the game. How do you translate that to the field, and how close is he to being ready to fly?
Really good. We could play Jahan right now. I don't think there's any doubt in that. You'll see Jahan play this year because we got the 4 games to play him. So at some point we see it factoring in. We had a lot of discussions this week about some guys that maybe we would use this week and get them a little bit of experience. So we'll see how that plays out. There's a lot of confidence in Jahan and what he brings to the table. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Frank Bodine, your daily record.
Hey, good afternoon, James.
How you doing?
Real good, thanks. You mentioned Amani at the beginning. On Saturday, you said kind of one of those guys where the ball just finds him. Can you talk about maybe a little bit in detail what makes him so successful, and how important is he to your defense moving forward?
Yeah, he reminds me a lot, when we were at Vanderbilt, we had a guy by the name of Casey Hayward, and same deal. He always seemed to be around the ball liked him. And I see that with Amani. Amani's long, he's got great ball skills, he's got tremendous confidence, and he's also been in the system for a long time now. He's developed, he's mature, he believes in himself, he believes in the system, and he's got that ability to find the ball. A lot of defensive backs aren't comfortable doing that, because you want to stay connected to the wide receiver, and worst case scenario, you let the receiver catch the ball and you strip it out of his hands as soon as it hits the hands, and then the guys that want to take their game to the next level, they know when and are comfortable to look back or up and find the ball and make a play on the ball. And Amani has the ability to do that as well as any of the DBs that I've been around. And I think you're going to continue to see him have a big year for us. He had a big year for us last year, but obviously he's getting more opportunities and more reps right now as a starter for us. And I think he's very important to our defense. I think whenever you got a corner like that can make plays, whether it's in zone coverage, whether it's in man coverage, whether it's in one-on-one situations, it breeds a lot of confidence in your defensive coordinator and your secondary coaches.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer.
Hi there, Jim.
Hey, how are you, Joe?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
Really good.
About John Reed, can you tell us why he didn't play on Saturday? Will we see him soon? And if this is indeed a setback, injury-wise, do you sense any disappointment in him because of missing all last season?
Yeah, as you guys know, I don't get into injuries and things like that. We're hopeful that we'll have John this week.
Mike Gross, Lincoln Newspapers.
Good afternoon, James. How are you?
Good, Mike. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Your passing game the first couple weeks, in terms of number like completion percentage, yards per attempt, stuff like that, I'm guessing that it's not what you would want it to be. And you touched on that a little bit with the wide receiver, but in general, how do you think you can get a little more efficient in the passing game?
Yeah, I think I don't know if that's really, when you think you had 2 games in one game significantly in rain the entire game, I think we threw for a good amount of yards and a good amount of touchdowns, and we held our opponent to 55 yards. And to think that the rain it wasn't just our defense that affected them, it was the rain as well. So I think under the circumstances, I feel really good about where we're at.
Donnie Collins, Grand Times Tribune.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Donnie.
You talked earlier about Woody Barrett. I'm just wondering, he's such a big guy, physical runner, takes a quick team. What kind of challenge does that present to the defense when they're caught in substitution issues with the offense they play?
I didn't hear the last part. You're kind of breaking up.
I'm sorry. What kind of challenges does that present to the defense when they're
What kind of changes percent to the defense?
Yeah, they said something after that, but I'll just go. I think, obviously you're dealing with 3 dimensions. You got the pass that you got to stop, you got the run that you got to stop, and then you got the quarterback scrambles. And I think that changes how you call the game. If you got a pro-style quarterback that's just going to stand in the pocket, you attack that, and you approach that very different than a guy who's got mobility, can hurt you with his legs. I think the other thing that I would say is, I know being on the headset and in the meeting rooms with our defensive staff, it's frustrating because you feel good, you stop the run, which is what every defense coordinator in America wants to do, and make people one-dimensional. And then you get great coverage, but as you get great coverage, the defense is turning their back to cover their guy or lose sight on the quarterback, and now he steps up in the pocket because you weren't as disciplined as you should have been in your rush lanes, and all of a sudden now that guy's running for 6 or 8 or 12 or 20 yards, and that's challenging because you watch the tape and you pretty much did everything right, and the guy still has an opportunity to make big plays on you. So it definitely affects the defensive coordinator. I tell Trace and our offense all the time, I've been saying it for the last couple of years, when Trace factors into games with his legs early, it opens our whole offense up. And the same thing can be said about teams and offenses that we're trying to defend.
Corey Geiger out to Demir.
Hi, James.
Hey, Corey.
There have been many instances the past few years, your team having a big second half and overcoming any issues that you might have had in the first half. What are the keys for you to being consistently good as a program and making halftime adjustments?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I would make the argument, really, we got to do a better job of starting out fast. We've done a much better job in the last 2 years of scoring on opening possessions. We've done a better job there, so I think that helps. But then, as we're trying to kind of figure out who and what they are, so based on everything we've studied, are they staying true to what we game plan based on what we saw on film, or are they trying to break all their tendencies and how they're calling games? So we're trying to find that out as quickly as we possibly can to adjust how we're calling the game and how we're trying to attack them in really all 3 phases. So I think we can do a better job of probably diagnosing those things a little bit faster. But we have played really well in second halves, and we played sporadic early on, but as we continue to play better and better competition, like we're getting with Penn State each week, we got to make sure that we're not, starting out slow the first quarter or second quarter, things like that. You can't do that. For us to beat the types of teams that we want to beat consistently, we got to play, at a pretty high level, not only every rep, but for all 4 quarters.
We'll open up to questions here in the room. Raise your hand, we'll go into.
How you doing, James?
Good, Mark.
Awesome. When you have a kid like Ricky Slade who struggles, how do you balance getting the messages across that you need to about fumbling with realizing you don't want to kill his confidence as a young guy?
Yeah, I think it's what you just said. You just got to be aware of that. There's got to be a clear understanding and standard that's not acceptable because it's preventable. And I think that is critical, but also not taking it too far. I thought our coaches and our players handled it really well in the locker room, and he's going to have a great career here, and he's got a very bright future. But typically that's an issue with young backs is pass protection and hold on to the football because they're getting hit harder than they've ever gotten hit in their life, and they're getting bigger, stronger guys trying to rip the ball out more than they've ever had in their entire life. And I think the other thing is they're just better than everybody in high school. So when they going against guys that are as good or almost as good as them, and the margin of error is so small, all those things matter. So he'll learn from this, he'll grow from this, he'll be better from this experience because of how he's handled it and how our team handled it, and I think how our coaches handled it.
Dave?
James, what differences?
Hey, Dave.
How are you today?
Good.
Fine, thank you. What differences did you see in Michael Parsons from week 1 to week 2? And what are your impressions of Joel Shaw, the Penn State running back?
Yeah, so Micah just continues to get more confident and get more comfortable. As you guys know, he hasn't really played the linebacker position, so still all new to him. But he does have a knack for finding the ball. He's got really good instincts from that perspective. There's a lot of things from a fundamental standpoint that he's got to get better at. Even just stance and start. He stands way too upright in there. He needs more knee bend, so he can be more efficient with his movements and things like that. But I just see him getting more confident and more comfortable with all of the responsibilities that come with playing a linebacker position. So I think that's what I noticed. And then Joel Shaw, obviously we go way back with him. As we were recruiting Miles, him and Miles played together, and we're really on a really good high school football team, and so we know kind of all about him and his background, and I got a lot of respect for him. And I think him and Miles both rushed for 100 yards last week, so it'll be a good challenge.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. A lot of reps spread out at tight end. Just curious about your evaluation at that position through 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think we got to be a little bit more consistent in the run game. I think we've been better in the pass game. I think John Hall has done a really nice job. I think Dalton's done a really nice job, and I think Fryermuth has earned the right to get reps, and has done a really good job in the run game. He's a big, strong, physical guy, and he's playing like it. So I think we got a really nice complementary package of guys there. But I do think we got to be more complete. Mike was freakishly athletic, as we all know, in the passing game, where I don't know if any of these guys, and there's no knock on them, because I think they all have a chance to be really, really good tight ends and have great careers, but I don't know if any of them have the freakish physical characteristics that Mike did. But I could also make the argument, because of where they're at in their careers and where we're at as a program, that maybe they have a chance to be more complete, in college. Obviously, Mike's doing great things right now in Miami, and I think is going to end up being the total package. But my point to you is, at the same point where these guys are, where Mike was, I think they can be further along in the running game. So that's going to be important for us, the next couple of weeks, to see him continue to evolve there. But Fryermuth is pushing those older guys, so it's good. It's going to bring out the best in all of them.
T. Frank?
Hey, James. How you doing? Good. Defenses, there's a lot of talk about how you lost a lot of offensive weapons last year, Mike's being one of them. Have defenses attacked your offense the way you expected coming into this year? And do you think that play so far, maybe with Miles Sanders, will affect that going forward?
I think so far, yeah. I would say people have defended us, how we expected. There is a couple different philosophies that we see, and this is a copycat business, so people see one defensive coordinator have success with a few different elements of how to defend us. Shows up on tape, and then people copy it. So there's about 2 or 3 pretty consistent things that we see, and then no different than chess, we got the counter move to make some of the things that they're trying to get done more challenging. So yeah, about what we thought. I think obviously as Miles continues to grow in confidence and playmaking ability, the same thing at the wide receiver position. That's the last couple of years has been what's been challenging on defenses is when you have someone at each position that can hurt you, multiple guys at wide receiver, a tight end, a running back, a quarterback, that makes it challenging to stop. So as much as our scheme has caused challenges for people, the personnel has had a big part in it as well, a big part.
McConnell?
Hey James, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. With John not out there against Pitt, Donovan Johnson saw a lot of time with the nickel. What have you seen out of him, especially with the speed? He listed off the edge a couple times there.
Yeah, he's a really talented guy. He was one of the guys that, last week when I came in here and I said, I didn't feel like we played as fast as we're capable of playing. I think Donovan's a great example of that. He's one of our faster, more explosive athletes on our team. And that first week he played cautious, but he learned from it, he grew from it, he took coaching, and I saw him make a big jump on special teams and on defense. And we're going to need him. We're going to need him to continue to grow. because I think he's got a chance, you know, to be a big time player for us. You look at him and KJ, you know, both out of Michigan, both out of the Detroit area, are having a significant impact for us. So that's an area that, you know, we haven't traditionally got a lot of guys out of, but you know, we expect it to continue to be a great area for us.
Yeah.
Hey, James.
Hey,
You mentioned 9/11. You guys appear to be one of the few teams that doesn't have the flag decal on the helmet, although late last year you did. I'm just curious, is that something that is discussed much, and you know, where do you weigh in on that?
Yeah, to be honest with you, if it's something that our administration brings up, or if it's something that our players bring up, then we discuss it. You know, and then make decisions that we think are in Penn State's best interest. But as you guys know, we don't change a whole lot. A lot of people change a lot of different things in uniforms, and we'll do things from time to time. But you know, I think the most important thing that we want to do is make sure that we're thinking about, you know, those families and the lives that are lost, and pay respect, and also appreciate how fortunate we are to live in this country. So I think, you know, some of those things are really nice, and we're open to those things as well. But more than anything, it's having discussions and being thoughtful and those types of things, which I think are probably more important and more impactful.
Ben?
Hey James, two things. First thing, my mom heard about our transition lens plate, and she was around when I picked the classes up and said we should be proud to wear transition lenses.
Your mom said that?
Yeah, so if you're trying to recruit moms, you got mine, but...
Awesome. I'm glad mom feels good about that. Where's mom live?
In State College. Yeah.
Awesome.
Here.
Does she have transition lenses?
She does not.
Does she have glasses?
She does.
Well, how can she endorse it to us, but then she's not living it?
She's a mom. Yeah. It is what it is. How fair of a barometer are the 2016 and 2017 seasons offensively in terms of what you're expecting out of this offense aesthetically, how it plays the game? Because I think there's maybe a perception, fair or not, that Ricky and Trace are still here, so suddenly everything's going to be the same. But I would say 2 games, not a lot of data, but maybe how this offense is playing is different than that. Are people measuring this against the wrong thing? How much are you expecting it to look like what it used to? How much are you expecting it to look like what it is?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think number one, I would say, obviously, when you stay in-house, for a number of reasons, because Ricky has earned the opportunity, and also because your quarterback's had a lot of success in that system, you don't stay in-house and then expect it to look different. So yes, we want it to look similar, but even from year one to go into this offense to year 2, it changed. And then obviously, although we're staying in the same system, you got a different personality now calling the plays with different backgrounds and things like that. So we're going to be constantly evolving. It's no different than our program. Our core values and our core beliefs will not change, but you'll see aspects around that nucleus that evolve and grow and adapt, and have to. In this game, if you're not growing and you're not adapting and you're not evolving, you're not going to last very long. So each week we're going to learn. Each year we're going to learn. And then based on our personnel, we'll also factor into it. You know, when you got a guy like Mike Gesicki, there's going to be aspects of your offense that are magnified with Mike's skill set that's going to be different than Fryermuth, for example, and so on and so forth. So our system will tweak a little bit based on our personnel, based on our staff. But the core nucleus of who we are and how we operate and how we do things will stay the same. I think a big part is you didn't really see 12 personnel a whole lot in the past, and you're seeing more of that right now. Why is that? Well, because I felt like we could be better in some of our short yardage and some of our low red zone stuff. Well, that's great, but if you don't have the personnel to do it, why are you going to put 2 tight ends on the field and take one of those guys off? If your personnel doesn't demand that. So it's a combination of all those things. So yeah, I think we look probably how I expected us to look. based on all the conversations we had all off-season. You know, one of the things I thought Ricky's done a really nice job of is, you know, not only, you know, being involved in everything the last couple of years, but also once he did take over, he had a very clear picture in his mind and image of how he wanted to do it. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that you can make as a head coach or as a coordinator, is you get into that role and then you try to be like the person that was there before you. Like, as you guys know, Billy's a really good friend of mine. We lived in the same neighborhood at the University of Maryland. We got a very similar background, but how Billy coaches and how Billy leads is very different. I can't come in and try to be Billy, you know, and it's the same way with Ricky. Ricky's got a very different personality than Joe. And I want to surround myself with players and coaches that are very comfortable in their own skin and own who they are. And I think that's why you see guys like Marcus Allen, you know, his personality, because that's who Marcus is, but also we embrace that. You know, you see that with Ricky, you see that now with KJ Hamler. I see that with Mike Hazel. I see that with Chris Peterson, my staff. I don't want to be surrounded by all the same personalities and all the same opinions and a bunch of yes men. I want to be surrounded by a bunch of different people with different perspectives, diversity, you know, diverse backgrounds, diverse perspective, diverse ideas, because that's the only way I'm going to make the best decisions for Penn State, is to hear all those things and see all those things and say, okay, great, this is great, I've got all the information out, here's the direction we're going. And that's GAs. We talked about this morning. Our GAs speak up more in our offense, defense, and staff meetings than any place I've ever been. But when they speak up, they're bringing value. They're not just talking to talk. So I think that's one of the challenges when you look at an organization is there a hierarchy? Yeah, there's got to be a hierarchy. But have you created a hierarchy that the GAs don't feel comfortable talking to the assistants, and the assistants don't feel comfortable talking to the coordinators, and the coordinators don't feel comfortable talking to the head coach? You know, have you really created an environment where guys will challenge me in front of staff in a staff meeting, where guys will come into my office one-on-one and challenge me? And I think we've done a pretty good job of creating that environment, and I think in any organization that's critical.
Audrey?
James, different note, but you mentioned the explosive play benchmark. What was that weekly number you had in mind? Or does it fluctuate from week to week, and what was the number?
Yeah, I think if I...
Because you guys had 9, I think. And
yeah, I think we were at, we don't do it by play number anymore.
Okay.
We do it by percentage, because obviously if you get 60 plays on offense one week or on defense, or 88 plays on offense or defense one week, it won't be consistent. So we're doing it by percentage. I think we came up with 14.06% this past week on offense. Our goal is 16% or more per game. We do the same thing in practice. And then on defense, we were at 5.71%, and our goal was 10 or less. So we met our goal on defense, did not meet our goal on offense. And it's funny, you watch that game, and we gave up some big plays early on, but overall, the entire game, we were in pretty good shape.
And you mentioned the playing so many linebackers until someone maybe grabs the position. What's the benefit of doing that, but also maybe some of the challenges that go with rotating so many guys in there?
Well, obviously the benefit is throughout your program, you're creating depth, which is something that we always want to do. Work really hard to create depth so that if you do have to make a change, whether it's because of production or whether it's because of, you know, a bump or a bruise or something like that, that next guy is ready to play. There's not a significant drop off. The other end of it is, yeah, the more you can get the same 11 guys on defense, the same 11 guys on offense, or the same 11 guys on special teams playing together and building that chemistry and that cohesion, that's really important. So it's that fine line of balancing that. We got to get our starting unit better. We also have to create depth. And also the starting unit, we have to make sure that we have not only the right people on the bus, but those guys are sitting in the right seats, you know, on the bus as well. That's really important.
Time for two more, John.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. One of the things, early on Saturday, it looked like your linebackers struggled to get off blocks. How big of a concern is that for you moving forward?
Well, it's interesting because I think it really depends. Obviously, we want to get off blocks, but I'll give you a perfect example. Mike Hull never got off blocks. Never. We moved him to Mike linebacker. Everybody says, why are you moving Mike linebacker? Why are you moving Mike Hull to Mike linebacker? It doesn't make sense. Well, Mike's greatest strength was not getting off blocks, not getting blocked in the first place. You know, in the old deal, you take on the block, you take on half a man, you strike the guy, you knock him back, you peek over his shoulder, you disengage, you don't make the play. That wasn't Mike. Mike was give you a little nod, slip, dip, reduce the surface area, go make the tackle. And he did it over and over and over again. So I think where you have to be careful is there's a lot of ways to play the positions. Tracy McSorley is our starting quarterback. The game is going to look very different with Tommy as our starting quarterback, with Sean Clifford, because they have different elements. The same thing at the linebacker position, the same thing at every other position. You have to play the guy's strengths. So yeah, we got to do a better job of getting off the blocks, but we also got to do a better job of sometimes not even getting engaged in the first place. You know, but is Jan Johnson going to play a very different style of football than Mike Hull? No doubt about it. But that's where playing on an edge. If you run down the middle of some of these, 6'4", you run down the middle of Steven Gonzalez, you're doing exactly what he wants you to do if you're a linebacker. I think we saw the clip that Matt Linegrover posted of C.J. Holmes, finishing a block. C.J. Thorpe, he's going to be really mad at me too for saying that. C.J. Thorpe, and his block during the game. C.J., I apologize. Where's the camera? C.J., apologize. C.J. Thorpe, clearly C.J. Thorpe. You see, the last thing you want to do is run down the middle of C.J. Thorpe. Really, really physical guy, really, really talented guy. So my point of playing that linebacker position, it's going to look different. And Jan and Jesse and Ellis and those guys. Ellis is probably more like Mike Hull. He's a slip-up block guy compared to those other guys, but what you can't do is you can't go down the middle. You got to be on the edge, so now you can get off and you're beating half a man rather than trying to go through the whole body.
Hey James, Sean Lewis is 31, maybe 32 now, the youngest coach in the FBS. So I'm just curious, what kind of coach were you at 31? How have you changed? And if you could give advice to your 31-year-old self or Sean Lewis, one bit of advice, what would it be?
Yeah, first I think it's awesome that he's a head coach at 31 years old. It's great that I think sometimes we get caught up in a lot of things that don't matter when we're going through the hiring process. At the end of the day, you want to hire people because they are ready and that they have the characteristics that you desire. And I think a lot of times we eliminate people for a lot of reasons. And I like kind of the direction we're going. You see maybe non-traditional hires happening more often, not just in football, but in every aspect of life. And I think that's important for a number of different reasons. Where I was at 31 years old, I would assume I was at the University of Maryland, maybe. I think at that point in my career, I think I told you guys before, Dwight Galt came and talked to me about the importance of being a relational leader. And I was coaching guys so hard at that point in my career, and I wanted everything exactly right and detailed and thorough and all the things you read that are important, but I wasn't connecting with my players the way I need to connect with my players. So for me, that was the important kind of moment in my career, which is funny because, like Coach Gall said, that's kind of my strength. That's kind of who I am as a person. So once that happened for me, then my career changed. So I can't really give coach any advice, nor do I want to before playing him. But if I was going to give myself advice, that's what it would have been. maybe a little bit earlier in my career.
All right, thank you very much, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be joined by Jan Johnson momentarily.